Welcome to the 1cc guide, beginner's guide for Musha, also known as Musha Aleste in Japan. This is a kind of premier Sega Mega Drive / Sega Genesis shoot 'em up. A lot of people know of this game now, but it is fairly rare and expensive. But I think a lot of people have interest in playing it. So I'm making a guide for it here. I'm personally rating this a 2 out of 5 on difficulty as far as console shoot 'em ups go, and a 1 out of 5 for memorization. Doesn't really require any memorization, but does require some basic knowledge of shoot 'em up mechanics to deal with difficult parts of the game. Anyways, let's get started here. Also, just to let everybody know, midway through this recording, actually in the last level of the game, I ran out of space on my drive, so you're going to hear my voice in the second part because this was streamed. So forgive me for talking over myself later on. I'll also have to lower the volume when that happens so you can hear me better. So, M.U.S.H.A. You start off with a fairly slow ship speed that I really don't like. You can change it by pausing, and then I believe you use the D-pad to change it. Also, you have different forms that you can set for your options. Most of them are pretty useless. You mainly want to stick to three-way, forward, reverse, which is not backwards. It just goes in the reverse direction of yourself. And free, which is homing. Roll is kind of useful if you're trying to protect your lives, but generally you don't want to use roll because the shots just kind of go everywhere. I would advise at the beginning of this game, change your ship speed. Here I go now. I personally like 7 or 8. I don't like having a slow ship speed in this game. And whatever power-up you get first, pick it up. Hope for red or green, but pick it up. It's not too bad dealing with blue in the first level. And make sure you pick up all of these little power-up capsules. I'm going to give you a tip to make sure you can pick up more of them faster. Once we get to it. But green and red are the preferred weapons in this game. Personally, red is a little bit situational, but I think it's more useful throughout the game. Green is very strong and generally a pretty good weapon for taking out heavy opponents, but at the same time, it is not quite as useful as red in a lot of places, but red takes a little more ability to use. Blue I just don't like. I don't like blue. I'll pick it up when I run out of sub-weapon. So if you get hit, you're gonna lose your sub-weapon, and you should always pick up the next one. Also, anytime you see those power-up carriers, kill them immediately. Always, like, just go up and point-blank them and grab them all. Getting more power-up carriers not only powers up your main shot, which you can see I have 3 of right now. The maximum is 4. However, you also get options, which are in the upper right corner. You'll see the thing that looks like a traditional spaceship is your option. Each time your option loses all of its health, you will lose one of those. And you generally want to keep them as long as you possibly can in the game, because you're going to be using free a lot at the end. There's a lot of option switching in this game. So you're going to be kind of pressing all 3 buttons a lot. If you have an arcade stick, this is one of the games that it's pretty good for. This is also an analog joystick compatible game. So if you can either emulate or own, and I think it's called the XEAP1. It is a Sharp X68000 stick. But it is an analog joystick. You can, you know, move around the screen very, very quickly. Has full analog support in both versions of the games, M.U.S.H.A and Musha Aleste. You only get... This is more like the Soldier series, Star Soldier series of games, when it comes to extends. So, well, let's get back to that in a second, because I'm about to pick up... We're at level 4 of the sub-weapon. Okay, because I kept picking up greens, we're finally at level 4. So, if we see a red... Oh, see, I got hit. Now I gotta switch back to green. But once you get to level 4, if you see a red, pick it up. Level 3 red is also really good. Anyways, going back to the extends, you only get a certain number of extends in this game. You cannot keep getting them like in a lot of compile shoot-em-ups. So just keep that in mind. You can't farm extends in this game. I think you only get up to like 7 or 8 total. And let's see what else here. There is rank in this game. The rank is basically the enemy's life points. It doesn't seem like the bullets actually get lowered. The bullets' amounts and speed stay the same depending on your rank, but the enemy health goes up as you power up your ship more. So your main shot, your sub-weapon, and your options all end up powering up the opponents in the game. So just keep that in mind. You really don't want to... If you don't want to stay at full power, red level 3 the entire game is a viable option. And it's a lot easier than using red level 4 because enemies will have less health. And also, when you'll see I pick up red, I'll talk about what happens with that. But basically, you get a special weapon, which is a black hole bomb. And it kind of does what it sounds like. I'm like doing really wide dodges here in order to avoid my options getting hit, which I did a really good job of. Usually you lose like 5 options on this boss fight if you are not doing this. Also, I don't have a sub-weapon. If you don't have a sub-weapon, you are going to die if you take a hit. So make sure you pick up a sub-weapon whenever you can. That is kind of your life force besides your options, you know, helping you out. And as I said, this shoot-em-up does not require much memorization, just kind of basic principles of shoot-em-ups where you want to stay away from the walls and, you know, the extreme edges of the screen when you're dodging. And stay away from enemies. Don't try to point-blank enemies unless you know what they do, because they are very dangerous. Here we go. So the middle one is now a black hole bomb. This is level 4 red. It pulls enemies and power-up carriers in. So this is the key to like really kind of easily going through a lot of the game. If you can manage this, the enemies do get kind of moved around a lot. So keep that in mind. It's not the easiest thing to deal with. But if you get them in that black hole, you point blank the hell out of them and they just die. And you can see I switched to reverse here because with forward and 3-way your options are on the sides, so when you get close to the walls, they die. With reverse, they're front and back. So that they can, they won't end up getting in the way of anything. They do get hit here, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. This boss dies really quickly if you can point blank it with any kind of sub-weapon. I don't know, this stage isn't too bad. This whole game is pretty easy until you get to the final boss. You're gonna see I lose a lot of lives here, but once I get to the final boss, where I normally have trouble, I don't know if I got an easy pattern or I just figured out how to dodge like way better on this run, but I ended up going through the entire final boss, I think without taking a single death, which is pretty uncommon. This is... Ooh. Yeah, I got hit there. Well, I didn't get hit, but my option got hit because I'm in reverse mode. So options getting hit help out a lot. You generally want to deal with that rather than having to get hit proper. And it's hard to tell when you actually get hit. So just try and pay attention to your sub-weapons and if they're actually out there doing their thing. If they're not, see, like I just ran into the wall and I can tell that I don't have a sub-weapon anymore. Another thing you can do to kind of save your health in this game is anytime you pick up a power-up, this is one of those compile hallmarks. If it's like a sub-weapon especially, you get a lot of invincibility time, but I think you do get a very, very brief period of invincibility from picking up the capsules. Yeah, it looks like it. So picking up power-up capsules can help too. It's very brief, it's not very long, but if you're in a situation that you couldn't otherwise get out of, you know, you might as well try. Yeah, you can see it's about 1/4 of a second. And it might only be on the first one, or whenever you get the option power-up. So keep that in mind. Alright, let's see which boss this is. I've played this game a lot, so I don't remember all of the bosses. Oh yeah, I was like in the way there, but it managed to just hit my option. So I switched to 3-way here. 3-way is a lot easier to deal with this boss. Your option shots are actually really strong. So I would recommend, you know, attempting to hit the enemy with the option shots. This isn't like Musha Aleste where you want to power up your main shot to gold level, and then you kind of use your main shot for most of the game, and very rarely use your options. There's other things to talk about with Musha Aleste too, but we're not going to get too much into it in this game. Okay, the beginning of this level is hard. I don't have a sub-weapon, which is pretty dangerous, so I'm going to grab this blue. And like I said, blue is not bad, but it's just not what you really want, you know? And I'm going to try my best to just avoid this guy. I don't think you can hurt him until a specific phase here. Thankfully, I'm back up to level 4 sub-weapon. I don't think you usually get the same sub-weapon twice at the beginning of every stage, but it seems like I got it in this run. Like, every stage I got the same sub-weapon twice to start off, and then I went through the loop of sub-weapons. I think that's really uncommon, so don't expect that to happen in your game. I know for a fact in Musha Aleste it is randomized. I don't know if it's randomized in this game. I don't remember. So this is like one of the coolest parts of Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive shoot 'em up. Up there with a lot of Lightning Force, aka Thunder Force 4. This like background thing that's going on with the super deep overhead view of the lava river is just so cool. I love it. You can see I switched to this sub-weapon just until I get the red. I believe it goes through that pattern every time. Blue, green, red, blue, green, red, blue, green, red. Except at the very beginning of the stage for some reason. And here, avoid the walls. You take a hit from them, so keep that in mind. You don't get pushed by them like you do in a lot of shoot-em-ups. You actually get hit by them, so you kind of want to use reverse here because they are vertical gaps, not horizontal ones, you know? Or rather, they end up being vertical gaps during the really tight parts. And you won't lose any options if you're using reverse here, as long as you're careful. Yeah, I managed to get through without losing any options, which is really good. I think I have like 30 options by the end of this stage, which is really high. I think normally when I used to go through this game using the green weapon the entire way, I usually had like 25 or 20 at the end of this. So the red option really helps pick up those power-up things, and also figuring out how to utilize them is really useful. Anyway, this is all pretty straightforward. You don't have to move out of the way of this stuff. Generally, you can just shoot into it and you'll be fine. Now, the boss of this stage, we do have to be a little bit careful, but he's one of the easier bosses in the game. It's the big predator guy. And we'll be coming up on him very shortly here. Also, I feel like the red weapon helps slow down the game a lot, which will, you know, help you get through the game. The green weapon does not slow it down as much, but it does still slow it down sometimes. Alright, so this is another one of the Predator guys. So I just got hit there. I no longer have my sub-weapon, but once you get to a second phase, it's pretty easy. The first phase, you just kind of want to do as much damage as possible. Second phase, just get out of the way when he charges, because he will charge, and he does... You see these little balls are pretty easy to deal with, because he only shoots 3 of them instead of 4 of them, like the first phase. His tail does hurt you, I believe, so be careful with that. And he's dead. Also, it might be one of the only times I've seen vertical parallax in a game. Okay, so this level has quite a bit of flashing, just a warning. There's a lot of lightning, and you are flying over and in the clouds. You will see... Oh, these enemies are really hard to get rid of. You'll see when I'm completely powered up, they're almost... Like, it's almost impossible to get rid of them in time. Even with this crazy-ass green weapon. So you're gonna see a lot of these, like, no-face enemies, or whatever you want to call them. They're not particularly dangerous. When you have the black hole weapon, as you can see, they do get a little bit more dangerous, because they fire out that beam, and if that beam is in front of you, they're just gonna hit you with it. So you gotta make sure you keep on moving if that's the case. As you can see, these guys are pretty dangerous. I think they fire out missiles in the later part of the game. Right now, you're just able to get rid of them, it seems like. But when we get later in the game, you're not gonna be able to kill them off that easily. You can see the shadows coming up from behind the clouds here. You want to make sure that you get rid of them as fast as possible. I think they're coming up faster because I have the black hole weapon and it tugs them from under the clouds, you know, off to wherever they are on the screen. So, the red weapon here is really good. I cannot say it enough. I think the red weapon is probably the best weapon in this game, but the green weapon is definitely a viable alternative. I have not figured out a good way to use the blue weapon yet. This enemy, when you see those 2 ships come up from below, you make sure you get out of the way, because you can get hit there. Thankfully, you'll still be in the part of the stage where you can get a sub-weapon. I still got hit. I think I died, yeah. So I died there, but it's okay. So now the enemies have less health, because I've powered down back to level 0 on my sub-weapon, and level 1, now level 2 on my shot. And there's the red. So we're going to take the red. Red is pretty good for straightforward damage on the first level. Levels 1 and 2 are not very good for straightforward damage. So it's a little bit of a gamble to do this. But I also have my options to help me out. So I figured I'd take the risk. Yeah, the enemies are ranked down. Back when I used to try this game, I would only take like 1 death before the final boss, because the final boss was so difficult and I'd always lose lives. And you can see I'm just getting bombarded by these missile ships now. There's not much you can do about them. You just have to stay at the bottom of the screen is the safest thing to do. If you have the opportunity to, point blank them, obviously, but you won't always have that opportunity. Okay, so you can see they take a much longer time to come out from behind the clouds now. If you have the black hole weapon here still, you're in a really good position. You'll be able to get rid of them very quickly. And we're kind of just relaxing until the boss here. This boss is a little bit tricky. Basically it fires out a bunch of missile volleys, so be careful, watch out for those. I would use three-way here to make sure you can hit it with your options. It'll get rid of most of them, and then you just kind of want to make a circle if they're still following you, which I think will happen at some point. I get hit there from the regular shots, unfortunately. I still got my options though, so yeah, you can see they're going around in a circle now. So just keep going around. You never want to stand directly in front of it after you get rid of the face on the front, because it's got this green weapon. So as soon as it opens up, hit it and then get out of the way. Just keep doing that. And you can see I'm concentrating my option fire on it now when I have the chance. Oh, and he's down. Your hitbox is pretty big in this game. As you can see, the ship itself is a pretty big sprite. This level is where it starts to get a little bit tricky. I think this is where we start seeing the ships full of turrets, which are really dangerous, so keep that in mind. You may want to switch to the green weapon here if you still have the red, because the red is not going to be as good if the end of the stage, like I'm thinking of, has those turret ships. But we'll see. We'll see. Because you really want to point blank the turrets when you see them and get rid of all of them. It might not be this stage. I know we fight the no faces here. Okay, so we just leveled up to level 3 shot at the previous, not that one, but the previous power-up capsule thing. We still have a long way to go for 4. But we're doing good damage here, so these are the no faces. Watch the hands, they have different patterns, so there should be a red, green, and blue. It's hard to see which one it'll be. I think that was blue, and then the green one is a laser, and you want to go towards the hand. I got lucky there. I was barely through before the green laser actually hits you. It's a little bit lenient, but if you see it come out, you want to immediately move out of the way towards that fist. Pretty much you're going to dodge the same way every time. You want to dodge to the side, but that particular one you want to dodge to a specific side. Yeah, here's the turret ships. So these are dangerous. You want to take out the turrets ASAP. They get really dangerous very quickly. So I have level 3. Level 3 is really good with red, and you can see because I wasn't on the left side here, I can't really do anything about this. So I'm going to, this is called bullet herding, if you're not familiar with it. I'm going to pull the bullets around the screen to my location so I can move away from them. Okay, and I did get hit there, but I leveled my shot up to level 4, so we have a little bit more firepower now, and the enemies are going to be slightly deranked because we lost our sub-weapon, but we leveled up our main weapon. Now, we just got a sub-weapon back, so they're going to level up their health again. So you can see they take quite a bit of damage here. You can destroy the shots that the enemies are firing. That's what the green weapon is good for. There are different types of shots in this game. There are destroyable shots and non-destroyable shots. In Musha, there's pretty much every bullet type is destroyable by the green weapon equivalent, but any laser weapons do not get destroyed by your green laser. So if you want to play Musha Aleste after this, just keep that in mind. That's why it's really strong in that game. It gets rid of all the bullets, basically. And this level in particular, maybe the cloud level too, are where there's a lot of stuff on the screen and it gets kind of hard to concentrate on everything going on. So I don't blame you for that. You can see how much easier this gets since I have the black hole thing. It just gets them all lined up and they die immediately. Okay, so this is basically your doppelganger, your evil twin. You want to make sure you get rid of his options very quickly. they will get rid of your options a lot of the time. They have a shot that takes off like basically all the HP from your option. So just keep that in mind, and then we fight the boss. It's another no face. It's gonna have the same patterns in phase 1, okay? So here's the green. You can see I barely got out of the way in time that time too. That time I did it right. Usually it just fires a bunch of reds, but not always. And the reds are just the fists that come at you. Okay, so those are hard to get around, but then he's gonna fire missiles, and when you see there's no more explosions coming from his mouth, get out of the way. So see, I got hit there, and I'm gonna get hit again, and I think I take a death here. Oh, maybe I don't. Maybe I just lose my sub-weapon. But then he's gonna fire them from the sides, and he should be, like, almost dead after that. Okay, more missiles. Yeah, there we go. Not too bad. If you have the green weapon, this fight is a lot easier. I don't think you can destroy the bullets that come out of his mouth, but it's pretty easy to see them when they happen. Okay, so this is the second to last level, I believe. We're gonna be fighting a battleship in the first part of the stage. Battleship is a little bit tricky. It's not too bad. You're gonna have to do some point blanking and some bullet hurting because there's gonna be a lot of turrets and there's gonna be gun emplacements. Just keep that in mind. You can see I have quite the stock of options now, so I'm gonna switch to free pretty soon. Free makes things a lot easier rather than three-way. Three-way is really good for taking out enemies that are on the sides of you before you can get over there. So that's why I've stuck with it a lot of the game. I think three-way and reverse are kind of the most useful in the early game, and then reverse is still pretty useful in the end game, but you kind of want to use forward and free once you get pretty late into the game here. And you can see you should be able to take out these enemies pretty much instantly, so. And we've got our black hole bomb back. These guys aren't affected by it, and I'm not sure why. Maybe because their sprites are too big. Certain enemies are affected by it and other ones are not. Anyway, here we go. You can see there's a lot of turrets on here already. You can, you know, get rid of the bullets with your main shot. Or with the green weapon. Because they fire destructibles. Not the small ones, though. Only the big turrets fire the destructibles. Okay. So the gun emplacements here are pretty tricky to deal with. I try and use my option here, and then I just point blanked it because I didn't want to have to deal with it anymore. And I wanted the space back on the screen where I could move around freely. That's kind of key in shoot 'em ups, is just having an area where you can move around a lot. You can see I'm like bullet hurting here and also trying to destroy the ones that are destroyable. If I did not have the red weapon here, this would be going a lot faster. I switched to reverse in order to run against the wall so that I can fire my options towards these turrets that are in the center. And this section is tricky. The easiest way to put it. And I got hit there and I did not notice. I also have roll on because I was taking a lot of very close calls, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, my options would take a hit rather than me taking a death, you know? Okay, so I managed to get my sub-weapon back, and we're trying to destroy these engines. There we go. Now we have a space on the screen again where you can move around easily and fire wherever we want. And here's our doppelganger again. Pretty much a similar fight. I put it on free just because he dashes at you and you can get more damage out of him here. He's gonna do a whip move on his second phase, I believe. So you want to kind of herd the whip and then get out of the way. And then it's gonna fire, see? And you can destroy those blue bullets. They're a little bit more difficult to destroy than a lot of the other bullets that we've seen that are destructible, but they're not too bad. And that's pretty much it. Free makes quick work of him. Sometimes Free gets the wrong enemy, which you'll see pretty soon, but yeah, otherwise it's not too bad. Okay. So I believe this is the last stage. Yeah, so this is where my drive started to run out of space. I shouldn't have issues with that again now, because I have a new drive that I'm going to be using. It's completely empty, specifically for the purposes of recording stream footage locally. You can get quality like this. Anyway, I got hit there. I didn't notice it until a second later, so it was already too late and I ran into the enemy. So I've lost, what, three lives so far? The dumb stuff in this game. It's okay though. We can recover. I wouldn't give up unless you're like maybe 2 lives and you've never fought the last boss before. That's a dangerous situation to be in. Yeah, you can see there's some issues. But I switched to free here again. I had it on reverse before. I switched to free because it's just doing constant damage to the enemy, so why not? But yeah, this guy's really easy. Just make him shoot in front of him, and he dies. And your option will come back afterwards. So these black ships are the equivalent of the ships earlier that fired missiles. Now the missiles are not destructible, I think. They might be really, really high health. I don't remember. But generally you don't want to try to destroy them. It's not worth it. You do want to destroy the black ships if you can. But it's tricky. There's only certain power levels, it seems like, that you will have enough to destroy them. This enemy is difficult. So he fires all these non-destructible missiles at you, and then he's going to fire a volley of the destructible ones. So you want to go around. You want to do a big dodge around these, and then try and hit as many of the destructible ones as you can, and then get out of the way. This guy has killed me a lot. This is usually where I lose my first life if I'm running a green up and run. And then he fires a suicide volley at you. So please remember that. Alright, I'm going to turn down the volume now, because this is where it dies. Uh-oh. Alright, so continuing where we left off here, also fires a suicide we got rid of the like an asshole. The second mid-boss of the stage. And you can see we're still powered down, but we should be okay. Are you all good? Trying to kill these black planes as soon as I can, as soon as I see them come on the screen. It's a little bit hard to do. Some of them are probably going to get through, but that's okay. And you can see I'm leaving free on at this point to try and get rid of the enemies as soon as possible. But it's not it's not working out right here. Also, these missiles kind of follow you, so what you want to do is get in a corner and then kind of move upwards and get away from them. You want to switch to reverse here. I didn't realize super quickly, but reverse I feel like works best here. It'll take you a little longer to get rid of the boss, but it's not too bad. If that gun in the center stops moving, it will fire at you. So keep that in mind. You want to like swing by it when you can. And you have to hit the blue things in the center there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and reverse shot all the little things that it shoots out on the sides. And then I'm scooting back and forth to try and hit the blue part. So we're getting close to the end of the game now. Get rid of this thing. Yeah, I ran out of drive space. Oops. Oh yeah, I have to close out the pop-up that was talking about no more drive space. Okay, so here we go. This is the final boss. I switched back to free. Free is a mistake. Switch to forward here if you can. Or reverse. Forward or reverse will work best here. But basically you want to stay about, here, I'll show you roughly where you want to stay on the screen. So you want to stay like right here, no further up, because these things shoot out green balls that are going to hit you. Some of them will come in here, here, this way, this way, this way, and I think that's it for each of them. You have to destroy both of them. This has a tricky hitbox. It is fairly big, but you can still squeeze by the edges. So just keep that in mind. You'll see me squeeze by the edges a few times. But you want to try and focus on one here until you get rid of it, because it gets much easier after that. This section is really hard if you can't get rid of one of them. And this is a really tricky pattern to dodge until you've kind of, you know, learned how to deal with these types of patterns and other shoot 'em ups. But if you come here with enough lives, you should be okay. There we go. Okay, now we have to destroy the purple orb itself. You want to stay like at least halfway up the screen against the boss. You don't want to run into the boss. I will accidentally run into the boss here a few times. So you want to stay a little bit further up than I am. And then you squeeze. See, if it goes down the center, you gotta get out of the way. But otherwise, it's gonna hit the side and create those things. See, I got hit there. I ran into the boss. But generally, you see what I'm doing. This is how you dodge them. It's pretty tricky, especially at this speed. You can change the speed if you need to. This is the first time I've gotten past the final boss, both without getting hit or dying on the first phase, and without dying on the second phase. It's very difficult. Those walls that it shoots out with the green bullets will kill you very quickly. The game is not over, so just keep that in mind. You're still gonna have to fight. You're gonna be at your previous power level. Your doppelganger is about to come out and fight you. So here we go. You want to stay under him. Because he'll fire out those lasers. I've never seen him do that before. Usually I kill him before he gets the chance because I'm powered down from dying. But you want to stay right under him. He will not hit you as long as you don't run into him. I don't think he comes all the way down the screen. But that's it. That's the end of the game. So now you dock with the ship. And that's it. So now we dock with the ship. As I just said. So that is M.U.S.H.A. It's a really fun game. Really fun shoot 'em up. I definitely suggest that you play it, give it a shot. It's on the easier side, even of the, 2 of 5 difficulty. It's not difficult. You can do it. Do your best. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I will be hopefully making some more tonight, if I get some 1cc's. So I will see you again later. Thanks, everybody. Make sure if you enjoyed this video that you like and subscribe. It helps me out. It gives me a lot more visibility to the rest of YouTube. Right now, I'm more just visible on Twitch, so if you want to come watch my Twitch streams, you can. It's twitch.tv/Obaazea. That's OOBAAZEA. Alright, y'all. I'll be playing shmups for the rest of November, so hope to see you there. Peace.